Massive yawn. It wasn't pretty, but we got the win to send the old girl off in style. Despite the same old mistakes, we got the job done with defence, and that's still good enough to be champions. Cuthbert and Parcell were class again. Great game from Watkins, best Super League centre by a mile. Quality from Ward and Walker is already better than Goulding. My only issue with Thaler is too many soft penalties for non-high shots.
John Hamlin said, Exhibition Rugby League from two stalwarts of the comp. Cuthbertson and Parcell were brilliant, but Saints helped a lot with some poor play. A serious question, what is the tactical advantage of only playing 15 players? Just making it harder, surely. Kindhorse is considered a centre these days, but he's capable of doing a job, so one of the big lads can sit down for 10 either side of half-time, ?
Yeah, he is.
Shall we start with that? Or was it inconsequential in the end?
I don't know the answer. In the end, it was inconsequential, but look, it might not have been. For the last 5-10 minutes, it was squeaky bum time, and with that 5-10 minutes to go, the ship has already sailed and the horse has already bolted in terms of your deployment of your interchange bench. Look, this isn't new. This has been Brian McDermott for the last at least 3 years that I can remember. He's had this policy of not always using everybody on his interchange bench.
So pushing the standards up there.
Well, it is, but I just wonder, does he trust them enough in pressured situations?
What, Rob Burrow?
Well, what's Rob... Look, Rob Burrow wasn't the guy that they necessarily needed at that point, though. I think he was trying to keep...
Was Liam Sutcliffe playing well enough to not take him off, put Moon into the left centre and give Rob Burrow sort of a role in the middle of the pitch and ask him to sort of swap around a bit with Parcell?
I think if you're...
Parcell was going great guns, don't get me wrong. Best player on the pitch.
Yeah, but they were in the lead at that point. By this time in the game, they were not comfortably in the lead, but they were 2 scores clear, and I think he just played it safe. I don't think he felt the need to try and come on and break the game necessarily, which is what you're trying to do with Rob Burrow, do something different and crack the defence. I think he was trying to keep it just locked up. I think he knew that the game was a scrappy one and was fairly error-strewn at times, and that people weren't executing, so keep things tight on defence. And Rob Burrow has got a lot of fine qualities as a rugby league player, but his defensive ability, while he tackles his weight, isn't something you can necessarily bank on. And would you bring off off a hard tackling forward or shuffle things around at that point? Jimmy Kindhorst, on the other hand, is more than good enough to get out there and do a stint and help the team. So I don't know, and I don't really think that McDermott's ever addressed the logic behind why he doesn't do it, but he'll turn around to you and say 2 points on the board in the competition with St Helens at home.
Well, Saints fans will be turning around questioning why Danny Richardson wasn't brought on earlier as well.
Well, that's the question mark for me, yeah.
Produced a really good bit of skill when he got on the field and scored a try that made it tense for the last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So well done to him. What I would... Let's drop in on the referee stuff.
Okay.
Because I have a big question mark around the build-up to the Cuthbertson try, but that is it. Because Ablett was clearly obstructed when I believe it was Percival from memory ran round the back of John Wilkin. Mm-hmm. Ablett was clearly prevented from getting to him there. The penalty that ultimately resulted in the kick that was the difference in the scoreboard between the two sides was the Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook tackle off the ball / Alex Walmsley shoulder hit.
Yeah.
Alex Walmsley led with the shoulder
into
a play that was running towards him. So as far as I'm concerned, even if the referee's blown the penalty on the sort of tackled late thing by Lou McCarthy-Scarsbrook, which was borderline.
It was, but you could see it given.
Walmsley was a penalty every day of the week, so quit fucking moaning, I'd say, about that one. But yeah, the Cuthbertson try. See, that was the one where there was the 2 kicks, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. When Leeds were really trying to find a way through and were struggling, to be honest, and they put in a few kicks and they got the ball back on both those kicks.
Yeah.
The second of the kicks was put in by, I want to say, Joel Moon, I think.
Yeah.
And it was going towards the left, very close to the in goal. Came off a Leeds player who played at the ball, looped up into the hands of Cuthbertson, who then got an offload away. The play got sort of going again. It went wide, came back. Cuthbertson scored it on a next play sort of thing. Cuthbertson was in front of the kicker when the ball was kicked. You would suggest he was within 10 metres.
I think so, yeah.
Even though he was sort of the opposite way to which the ball had come. That one, for me, has a question mark about it. I don't know how the rule applies to when a player has played it. Does that automatically put everyone else onside or not?
Yeah.
And I think the fact that the kick was going away from where it ended up maybe is a reason why the referees saw it the way they did, if the referees saw it wrong, because I'm not clear on that rule.
Yeah.
I'll make that absolutely clear. But I have a question mark over that try.
I think it's a great
I also think Saints were definitely the better side in the first half, but were the worst disciplined side.
Yes.
And overall in the game, and I do feel that reflected in the opportunities Leeds had. I mean, they missed an easy kick. That was obviously
another penalty that.
Yeah.
And what he when he hit the post, Watkins would have anticipated.
Yeah, although Percival missed a kickable one in the first half too, so you could throw that back at both of them. I actually thought the first 20 minutes of this game were really good. It was only 2-all.
It was entertaining.
Both teams were defending really well. Saints were attacking pretty well, but not quite well enough. And Leeds weren't really getting out their own end because Saints were playing really well.
Saints were forcing Leeds to do a lot of hard defending.
They really were, and Leeds stood up to it and did the job. Then came like the knock-on hour. And it interrupted the quality of the rest of the game. Roby, I don't know how many times I've said it in the 4 series of this podcast, but he is the greatest player that has played in Super League for me, and he's still doing it now in his 30s and what have you. It's just a phenomenal player. I think you run out of things to say sometimes about someone that good. Matt Parcell matched him in his very own way, in the Matt Parcell way, and I think both those two players were well above everyone else on the pitch.
Yeah, it was one.
By the end, in the first 20 minutes, everyone I thought was pretty decent.
Saints were clicking. Regan Grace looked dangerous. His running style is a joy to watch because he's got this. He's so light on his feet.
Yeah,
he's strong in contact. He doesn't get knocked back particularly, but he's got this nimbleness as well that is just. It's brilliant to watch because he'll dodge out 2 or 3 tackles before the tacklers even know what's happened.
Yeah,
and going into contact, he's not shy either. So it's 2 different skill sets to have, or 2 different facets to have that he brings. I really, really enjoy watching him. Not totally sure what I think of his haircut, but it doesn't particularly matter. I'm
not sure it's any worse than the one that preceded it.
Oh, I don't know. I quite like the big high top sort of. It reminded me of Kid and Play. But he's
reminded me of Rizzle Kicks.
Well, there you go. There's more. I don't know who. Oh, they're a rap band, aren't they?
I don't know what they are.
A rap collective.
The 2 young.
But they're like the Wu-Tang Clan. So he's a great one to watch as well. He had a good, particularly in the first half. He was interested and he was trying to affect some stuff. Jack Walker at fullback is solid as a rock.
I think he's a good player.
Yeah,
I think he's a really good player.
18 years of age. Looks like he's been there for 5 years. Certainly, there's absolutely no reason why Ash Golding should be getting picked again.
Back to Regan Grace. Back to Regan. Well, I don't know, because Ash Golding played really well against Wigan.
That's the odd one game here and there, but the consistency at fullback, Jack Walker hasn't let the side down yet.
Back to Regan Grace. I hope he really does show someone up with that in the World Cup at some point, and really show on the global stage.
Yeah,
I hope we get to see that.
He'll have the chance for Wales, won't he?
I kind of felt in the end it was a fair result. I do think Leeds did manage to close down everything Saints were doing when Saints got close enough to their line, and were a little bit more threatening in the second half. I think they had a few more polished plays. Percival got some slagging from David, and I can see where he's coming from. With Percival, the big thing is how skillful, how entertaining, how classy he is. How many errors he produces this year as well is way up there in the error count. And you have to put that all into the picture when you're talking about Percival and England. And I kind of think, as classy as he's been, as much as he scored one of the best 3 or 4 tries of the season, certainly the one, was it?
Who was it against? Against Castleford? No,
it was against someone at home. To win the game, pretty much. Right. And he scored a great couple of tries against Wigan as well to win that game. But too many errors, probably England pecking order knocked down.
I agree.
But I love watching that wing play for the fluency and the class, but then at the same time,
there's no error there. Maybe one too many. Okay, what do the stats tell us?
Not many stats were very close, but the stat wins were shared evenly. Saints were a good deal better at making ground, 1.1 metres per carry better, but Leeds made more ground and 5 breaks to 3. Saints were well better in team tackle success by nearly 4% better, but made 4 more errors and gave away 2 more penalties. The stats support the close outcome. Basically, it was a very even game.
Okay, so individually, who stood out for us?
Adam Cuthbertson with a try, 155 metres, 5 successful offloads is 2015 Adam Cuthbertson, isn't he? Ryan Hall, a try, 107 metres. Matt Parcell, 173 metres and 3 successful offloads. Really good out of dummy half. Liam Sutcliffe, a try assist, 131 metres. And Callum Watkins, 129 metres. For the St Helens side, there was still plenty of strong performers. James Roby, 48 tackles, 7 tackle busts, 195 metres. Regan Grace, 5 tackle busts, 139 metres. Alex Walmsley, 132 metres. John Wilkin, every week his tackles. 41 tackles, 12 marker tackles. And Morgan Knowles, the exact same stat line there, 41 tackles, 12 marker tackles.
Oh, there you go. So, final game of the Super 8s then on Friday night down at the DW. Your Wigan Warriors, Mark, dismantling the imploding Salford Red Devils 42 points to 6 in front of 11,229, refereed by Chris Kendall.
Yeah, but no one had much to say on this, and I don't have much to say either. Salford were not at the races.
Right.
Wigan were...
I presume you were there.
Yeah, Wigan were good. Wigan were entertaining. Wigan scored some nice tries. Sam Tompkins looked classy with a few kick-throughs that people got on the end of, and you know, everyone in the Wigan side did well. They did really well up the middle, around the ruck.
Yeah, you would think so.
Some good running from dummy half, some quick plays. That was nice to see because it was very different to what we saw against Huddersfield, and we were able to play off the back of that. Breaks from everywhere. Tough period early on to defend our line when Salford had about 4 or 5 sets, and after that, after them not being able to score in that position, you just felt like they never really had a shout in this game, and Wigan won comfortably.
There you go. Okay, well that's about that then. Right, what did the stats tell us then?
Hugely dominant numbers for Wigan, who won all the stat categories we'll look at. Headline numbers would be the 538 more metres at 1.7 metres per carry, better average gain. They made 8 metres per carry, Wigan did in this game. 12-1 in clean breaks, and defensively a 4.5% better team tackle success. Also, 33 total attacking kicks and 21 by Wigan were season highs for a game and a team in 2017. So it shows all the territory, all the metres were all Wigan.
So before we get into the individual stats, then, what do you think is going on at Salford? Because they're just plummeting down the league.
I think it's a combination of a few things. Injuries have struck at the worst time of the season for them, and if it hadn't been quite a close, topsy-turvy season up to this point, they probably wouldn't have been in the position they were in the top 4 by the end of the regular season.
Okay.
I think they benefited from a healthy side for 3/4 of that time, and now that they're having to juggle people around, there's a couple of people have lost form as well as a few people getting knocks and stuff. There's question marks in the team selection, and I just think there's a lack of cohesion and confidence there. There's a lack of forward power. I mean, when you're regularly missing players like Kopchak's missed a few games, and Tassie's been missing, Mossop's missed a big period, and Flanagan's missed a big period, the leadership of the pack has completely fallen away. They made a stupid decision in the James Hassan scenario. Whilst getting Manu Vatavai in is a great move, they might have wanted to look elsewhere in their quota spots, and maybe speak to someone like a Todd Carney and see if he fancied a dart home, because he's going to dart home next year anyway. But then again, who would they have picked with like Robert Louis, convicted spousal abuser, injured? So it's just a combination of all those things. The injuries down the spine coming at the wrong time. I just think that's the way it's gone. They didn't have the deepest squad, and it's just injuries are coming at the wrong time. If anything, they're kind of like the cast side from last year, who looked really good in patches against the top sides, but didn't quite have the depth and didn't quite have the look of injuries at the last stage of the season, and ended up midway in that top 8, the bottom 4 of the top 8. And Salford will do the same and have done the same, and I think they wouldn't have been in the top 4 going into the 8s
had it not been such a topsy-turvy year.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Individually then, who stood out for us? Loads for your boys, I would have thought.
Joe Burgess, 2 tries, 120 metres, 3 clean breaks. Liam Farrell, 1 try, 152 metres, go on the Ginger Pearl. John Bateman, 42 tackles, 126 metres, 5 successful offloads. Oliver Gildart, one of the classiest centres around, 2 try assists, 145 metres. Anthony Gelling, a different breed, 1 try assist, 5 tackle busts, 212 metres, 2 clean breaks for the GLZ.
The GLZ.